would it surprise you guys here today to know that research proved in 2016 to 2017, healthcare cost rose 79%? Crazy, right? Would it surprise you to know that 91% of all employees look at healthcare as one of the #1 benefits? Right? So there's a lot of statistics out there about healthcare and the costs and corporate, but we're not here to talk about any of that today. We're here to talk about you and your personal wellness. Who here has a personal wellness plan? 2, 3, maybe, I'm not sure. So personal wellness plan, it's very important. You're very special, and to be the best person that you can possibly be for those around you, you need to take good care of yourself. So we're going to be talking about that today because today is the first day of the rest of your life. So we're going to talk about how to embrace one small change at a time to get to that bigger picture and be all that we can be. Sound good? Mm-hmm. Perfect, perfect. So the one time I get to hold, I'm a mother of 4 boys. And so I don't get a remote very often in my house. I don't know about you guys. So I bought this. I'm so excited. And it's the only time. Sometimes I can't do it right because I have no practice. But this is my family. This was taken at Thanksgiving time. And I have the 4 boys. I guess we're Vikings fans. Sorry if you're not. So my oldest son is in the white in the back. And him and his wife in front of him, they're Benjamin and Julianne. They'll be married 5 years in September. And the next one on the end with the glasses, that's Alan. He bought a house in St. Louis Park, and then he has a significant other now, but he didn't at the time, so he's alone. And then Peter and his fiance, they just bought a home in Savage, so I'm excited they're staying close. And the baby is the tallest one in the group. He's like 6'3". He's my baby, always will be. And his best friend there, Tori, I guess Lanisha was with Peter. Then my husband there in the back. Lucky man, 35 years, right? That's who I am. That's where I come from. That's, in between some of the other things that make me who I am. If you don't have personal wellness, you can't keep up. And eventually these people will have people of their own. And I want to be able to still kind of hang out and run and play with them because for every year they wait, I just get a year older. Ground gets further away. So what we're doing here, what we're going to be talking about today is taking care of you. Sound good? Who could use a little more taking care of you? I thought so. That's why you're here, right? So today we've got our objectives. When you walk out of here, you're going to have some objectives on how to set some boundaries for balance, create self-care routines, and discover methods to relieve stress. Anybody have stress in this room? I think that's a 99% hand raise and somebody wasn't paying attention, right? So these are the things that we're going to talk about. Everybody should have 2 pieces of paper in front of them. First piece of paper, every so often we're going to stop and we're going to take stock and we're going to write notes, okay? So that you have something to walk away with when you leave. You can take a moment. The other one is if there's something about the presentation that you liked, if you know somebody you'd like to share it with, you'd like me to come speak to your company or your group, you can do a referral on there. So everybody, we'll make sure we got everybody's drawing in there soon. Boundaries, draw a line in the sand. Everybody here got pretty good set of boundaries? Sometimes. Yeah, what happens to our line in the sand?
It gets blurred.
It gets blurred, yeah. Why? Overcommitment. Anybody else? Yeah, so we got to learn how to draw that line in the sand and then stay on the right side of it. So how are we going to do that when balance is so important? Emotionally it's important because as we were talking about, we've got that family, we've got kids, we've got things going on. How do we stay emotionally balanced when sometimes we get caught up in what's happening with our family? Because we care about them, right? So, sometimes we get a little overwhelmed emotionally and kind of lose where that line in the sand is. So what about mentally? Anybody feel like this person here, this woman over here? In the back, yeah? Why?
Life is full of change, and I've just had a lot of change, so it feels like that's my entire life right there, spread out all over, messed up.
Yeah, life is full of change, she says, and it's spread out all over, and which direction do you go into, right? So do you find yourself just coming and going, I guess, right? So we know that balance is important emotionally and mentally. We also need to know that balance is important physically, because even though we get out there, who actually works on the farm? A couple of us. So a lot of head nods, but it is, that's physical work too. But wherever you're working, we've got to have the balance in our physical activity. So if we're in an industry where maybe we stock shelves or we're working the farm, that's maybe not the kind of physical activity that we need. That's just something that we need to do. It's part of the job, right? We got to find balance. We're going to be talking about that. Spiritually, who takes time to just to give it up and talk to a higher power? Great. Very important. Take a little time, be thankful for what's going right. Focus on the good things. So spiritually, we need to be balanced as well. And if that's part of your 4 group that's missing, that might be something that you need to look into. So how do we change these habits? What's going on here? Multitasking, lottery. Is she doing everything for everybody all at the same time? Right? So she's got the coffee, she's answering the phone, she's doing the work, what isn't she doing? Taking care of herself. That's right, Joyce. Taking care of herself. And that is very important when you're looking for a balance in your life balance. You've got to get off the Ferris wheel from time to time, the roller coaster, and just take your time, because this is all going to get done. So what's wrong with the picture over there? Nothing's wrong with the picture over there. Exactly. What did you say?
It looks nice.
It looks nice. Anybody else?
My mind would be going off, what am I not accomplishing?
Oh.
Stuff done, I'm just sitting here, I'm just looking at that.
Oh, we've got some good. She can't shut off, she says. Her mind would be going a mile a minute. So when we have the opportunity to be this person, should we be embracing it? Absolutely. We all need to find that balance. I mean, this person is out on the beach, enjoying themselves, coming back to center, and re-energizing. So we need to find time to be true to ourselves and be our best self, correct? So, ideas to ponder. When you're thinking about where you're going to get your best self, where you're going to bring it all together, I just got some starter ideas up here. Maybe a lot of us have to get up very early and get going where we need to go, right? So maybe we need to get up just a few minutes earlier, and before we put our feet on the floor, maybe that if we're having a hard time figuring in that spiritual balance, maybe that's a good time. Before you even put your feet on the floor, just give yourself an extra 5 minutes. Set an alarm in your work day, wherever you're working. Set that alarm, maybe once, twice, 4 times a day, and it'll just go off, and that will remind you, because what we're doing here is building habits. And that will remind you, take a few minutes to step back and just have a moment. Anybody think that's possible? Right. We're in an electronic world. Everybody has a smartphone. So hide away after work. What do you think that means? She's smiling over here. Well, I can tell you.
Just picturing my kids looking for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Kids are looking for.
I'm having a moment.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm having a moment. I know. Don't you wish they'd put you in timeout?
Right.
Never. Doesn't happen.
I'm gonna go take a nap.
Yeah. Go to your room. So good. Well, and you are busy. We're all busy. I mean, that nobody really owns it because it's the way the world works right now. Correct? So when I talk about hide away after work, that could be as simple as when you leave wherever you're working from and you just go sit in the car for just a few minutes and give yourself just a moment to come back to even. Just to realize that you are you. Okay? I mean, you would tell your kids to go sit down for a little bit, right? Or maybe you're going to pull into the lane. I don't know. I know a lot of the farms, the lane is long. So you pull in and pull off to the side and just sit there for a few minutes. Just appreciating some time to yourself before you make that next move into the rest of your busy world. So sometimes we're so busy all day. How about that soak at night? Has anybody tried? And you're so busy and you can't wait to go to bed. Has anybody tried just to take a moment and get in the tub for just a little while? Yeah, and what'd that do for you? Relaxation. Right. And you're nodding your head back there?
Jump in
Right, the knots out of your neck. So sometimes we think we want to hurry up and get in bed, and actually if we took just a few moments, we'd have a better night's sleep, we'd be in a better state of mind. We can do some of that other spiritual thankfulness while we're there, a little bit of meditation. So other things you can do when people don't know what you're up to. Anybody do a little free reading? Nice, right? It's like a little bonus. Go for a walk. An intentional walk. Do you guys know what I mean by that? Tell me.
There's not really like a specific destination that you need to get to. It's like, I'm just gonna go for a walk.
Right.
Meander, like watch, I don't know, like notice flowers and just notice things, not looking at your phone. Just kind of being in the moment.
Not looking at your phone. How hard is that? Everybody have their phone here today? Yeah, of course we do, you know. But would anything change if you left your phone in the house and you went for a nice walk?
I might not get home.
Oh, don't walk too far. That's fun. Well, but an intentional walk is also, I mean, if you're in town and you've got things going on, an intentional walk too could be when you're walking your dog, which I appreciate you do instead of keeping it in the yard. Walk your dog, but walking the dog so it sniffs, that's not intentional. That's taking, you know, doing what you have to do. So an intentional, moving the body. Work on a hobby. If you don't have a hobby yet, let's get one, right? Because at some time you might find that you just need that mental distraction. So it could be knitting, could be sewing, could be reading. Who has a hobby? What is it?
I just recently took up jewelry making.
Oh, the jewelry making. Is it relaxing?
It is. I don't know how good I'm at it, but doing it.
Yeah, does it matter?
Nope.
It's fulfilling, right?
Yep.
Who else has a hobby? What do you do, Caitlin?
Late night paint nights.
Late night paint nights. Do it with a group?
Yep, or by myself. Yeah.
Great, great. Hobby, you had a hobby.
My husband and I started building jigsaw puzzles in the wintertime.
And how's that going?
It's actually really fun.
And did you hear she has a partner in her hobby? So her and her husband are doing jigsaw puzzles. Fantastic, right? So whatever your hobby is that fills you up and gives you joy, these are the things we need to do. So this is one of those times, and we're going to take a break on our notebook, on the paper that you got. And the first question there is, what small change can I make today? So as we talked about reading, and we talked about hobbies, and we talked about a walk or a soak, what can you do that can help you move into that next step? So your small change might be, I'm going to take a 10-minute walk after work 4 days a week. Making time for something else. I'm going to pick up a novel, and I'm going to read it 30 minutes every Saturday. Now, it's important to be intentional. So when you decide on a change, it needs to be something that you can do. I don't want anybody to say, I'm going to be a trapeze artist next week. You know, so it's a small change and something you can do, and please make it measurable. So I don't want you to say, I'm going to go to the gym every day for 45 minutes before work. How long do you think that will last?
2 days.
2 days, and she's really working on it. Yeah. So it could be, I'd rather you say, what's more intentional? What's more of a small change that you could make that you could do?
I put down just 5 minutes by myself because I do the spirituality, I read, but sometimes just I don't want TV on, I don't want my husband around or anything. I just want 5 minutes, period.
In the quiet. And how often do you want that?
I would like to do it daily. I
It-
really would.
Every day. 5 minutes every day, quiet time to herself. Do you think that's a doable action?
Yeah.
Right, right. Does anybody else have an example?
I wrote down to read 20 minutes every day instead of watching TV.
20 minutes every day instead of watching TV. Caitlin's going to read. Do you think that's doable?
It is.
Every day, 7 days.
Yep.
Okay. Write it down. Yes.
So I really wanted to get back involved in a hobby, painting. And I went out and I bought all the paints that I needed and I set up my easel. It's totally unwrapped. The canvas, but it's been sitting there for literally 2 months. And when I get off work, I know that that would be more fulfilling to do instead of, watching TV or, even though that is fulfilling, but that would be my small thing, is to unwrap it and just not be afraid that it doesn't need to be a perfect painting. It's just for fun.
Okay, so fabulous. So let's help her fine-tune that. She wants to start painting. She's got all the paints. She's got the easel. It's all set up to go, right? Is that my understanding?
Yeah.
All set up to go. She would like to start doing that after work. What might be some actionable steps for her to get to do that, to give her that self-care part?
What you're gonna paint?
I do have an idea of what it is. Yeah.
So that helps. So we should have a vision of what
Yeah.
you want the canvas to look like.
Yeah.
I would lay out your painting smock or something somewhere where you see it right when you come in the door, so that that is your first thing you change into.
Like how long you gonna do it, or you're gonna before supper or after supper, or is it one day, how many times a week?
And if you're like a coffee drinker or tea drinker, put a sticky note on one of those two, say, I will paint tonight after work, or whatever you want. Just something visual that reminds you you will do it.
Or combine the spaces.
On the remote.
On the remote.
I would say if you enjoy being in your living room and watching TV, then set up your paint station there and have the TV on while you paint, because you're connecting to that space somehow and you can't disconnect from it. So put them together.
Perfect.
Great ideas. Do you feel like you have a plan?
Yeah, I can see it.
So she can see it. She can visualize. Okay, so in a snapshot, what happened here in this, which was beautiful, we have some accountability partners here. Who knows her? Who's going to call her?
When you're painting next year.
All right. Yeah. Yes. Oh, even better. That's a challenge. Write it down. Bring it to show next year. But she's going to get her spot set up in a place that's easy, maybe in an accompanying place where she spends most of her time. She's going to leave herself little love notes to remind her this is good for you to do. She's going to decide when she's going to do it. Do you know when would work?
I have an idea, yeah. I have an idea. So I think it would be in the early evening, like before eating.
Before dinner, the early evening hours. Do we know how much time we're going to commit?
I would say like 45 minutes to an hour is like reasonable with painting, letting things dry.
And you have that kind of time.
Yeah.
And how many days a week?
I'd start out with like one. I think I'd start out with one.
Anything wrong with that? Absolutely not. That's right. That's fabulous, Jamie. Absolutely right. 1 day a week, 45 minutes to an hour. Her space is set. Her love notes are out. Good job, guys. Good job. All right. So that's what I'm talking about. One small step, one thing that you can do to get your self-care back in there. And maybe it's the soak in the tub. But do you see how we break that down, how we work it? We write down the steps so that we know. Don't make it too big. Don't make it too in general. If it's generic, we'll never get around to it. It's just another one of those things we set on the shelf. Okay, so who is in charge of your choices? You're empowered, right? Now there's a lot of stuff that you aren't empowered to do, or there's a lot of stuff that is out of your control. But what you put in that beautiful body of yours is totally within your power. Totally within your power. So sometimes we just need to think about it a little more. We need to be conscious. I like to say, and I'm sure you've heard this, eat the rainbow. Look at all the colors. We eat with our eyes first, right? So you make these choices. You're the one that plans the meals. You're the one that plans what's going into your body. Now, even if you're not the one cooking, you get to decide what you eat, right? So you put junk in, how are you going to feel? Like junk, right? So if you take a few extra minutes and you shop and you think about the rainbow, if you just put the rainbow in your head when you're thinking about shopping, you're thinking about food, it paints a picture. And don't forget to stay hydrated, right? How important is that? Now what's interesting about this, you have to be mindful about it. That's why you have to shop, and you have to shop the rainbow. If you're eating all beige and browns, how do you think that's really working out? Not so good, right? So the most colorful part of this picture is what? The package, right. Are you eating the packaging? No, well, let's hope not. That's another discussion for another room for another time. But at any rate, think about that. When you think about what is going to be good for you, what belongs in here, it's not that. To your right, how does that look? She's appetizing, very good. Appealing, healthy, doable. Yeah, why is this doable? Has anybody prepared fish? Right. What do you have to do to it?
Hardly anything. Cooks really fast.
Cooks fast. You don't have to do much to it. A little seasoning. You can bake it, put it on the grill. It's fabulous. So you just plan a little ahead. You've got a little to take for lunch, right? What else might be easy and fabulous to make? Steamed veggies. Oranges, is that what you say?
I said, or just vegetables.
Or just vegetables, right. So, we're getting into that season, right? This is your livelihood. Come on, play with me, right? The vegetables. We can do all sorts of wonderful stuff with vegetables. Anybody in the habit of having, like, broccoli every night?
Not every night.
Not every day.
A lot.
A lot. Is that working for you? But what about those of us who don't really care for broccoli?
Have asparagus instead.
Have asparagus instead, right. So the one thing that we always need to be aware of is if I don't like broccoli, I do. But if I don't like broccoli and you keep putting broccoli in front of me and I'm not eating it and I'm never going to eat it, even though it's good for me, is it a good idea to keep putting that broccoli in front of me? Why? Yeah, I'm still not going to eat it. So open your mind when you're in the grocery store, when you're, it won't be long. When you're out in the farmer's market, and boy, oh boy, do they have some stuff, right? And never be afraid to ask the grocer, how do I snap this up, right? And they'll give you a new recipe or tell you, find something you haven't seen before. Awareness of your eating habits. Anybody eat because of any of these things here? All of them?
All
Socialization.
And yeah, all social.
And convenience.
Convenient. So, I'm supposed to eat. I'm not hungry, but it's time to eat, so I'm eating, right? Is that a good habit? No. We're building good habits here. So one small change at a time. Think about it. Am I eating because I'm emotionally stressed? Yeah. I always say, I'd eat because I was happy, mad, sad, didn't matter, it was an emotion. I'm eating through it. So you got to stop and think what else is a better use of your time for that. Boredom, just bored. So anybody catch themselves with the refrigerator wide open? What are you looking for? So thirsty, the first thing I suggest is get a drink. See how that works. Has anybody tried that? Have a nice big glass of water? Does it help?
And I know this sounds weird, but I read this too. A glass of warm water in the morning. And it took me a while to get used to it, but that gets the rest of your body functions moving and kind of sets the tone for the day.
Did you guys hear Joyce had a glass of warm water in the morning just to get everything going? And anybody want to cut up a lemon in there? Squeeze a little lemon? Oh, so good. Snack options, we need to be mindful of that. When you're thinking about it, first of all, we want to start with hydration. Right? If we think we're hungry or we want a little snack, we want to start with the hydration. And then you want to wait about 5 minutes and just see what happens, right? So first, have a drink. It just sounds funny in my head when I say that. Anybody else? I mean water. And then wait 5 minutes. And if that doesn't work, go for some protein. If we're talking about a snack, and we need to make sure we've got our snacks together. Protein is satiating, filling, tasty, right? Now, there's a limit on the protein thing. So don't go crazy. But, that's the thing that's going to hit you first and it's going to work quickest for you, right? And what are you going to go do differently with your food and water routine? Would it be shopping or?
How about actually drinking water?
Oh, that's a good one. She says, how about actually drinking water? Do we have any non-water drinkers in the room? Yeah, I stumble into that from time to time. Does anybody have a tool or a tip that they've used to get them to drink more water?
Bring a water bottle where you're going.
A water bottle where you're going?
Yeah.
And
you have like a bag or purse, then you just always have it, or just like in your console of your car.
One with the clip, so you can clip it onto your bag, your purse.
I used to be a non-water drinker, and about 4 years ago, I donated a kidney to a coworker, so I had to start drinking water. And I literally put it on the counter and it popped up.
to remind me.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
You can like set an app on your calendar to every 2 hours to just like.
There's also apps for it.
Yeah.
There's an app for that. Yeah. So put it on your phone to remind you to drink. Get a special container or bottle.
I got the container. It's the actual drinking that's in the container that I get like lost in what I'm doing, and 2 hours later I look up and it's like, oh, I should drink some water.
Right.
Fitbit
Joyce.
Apple Watch.
The other thing is,
I think those are right.
to find something that you like enjoy as far as like limes, lemons, cucumbers, strawberries, make it appealing to the eye too, so then you see it sitting there, it's like, oh yeah, I think I'll have that.
Yeah, infuse the water. You can even buy those containers and put it in the refrigerator, and it has a tube in there, and you can put your fruit and/or vegetables in there, and it flavors the water a little bit. No extra calories, no extra sodium, just a little more flavor. Because some of us, my husband isn't big on water, so I totally understand what you're saying. And so sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. So everybody took a moment, got that, right? So focus and refocus on your activity. So if this is what you're considering, if these are the things that you consider activity in your life, does that bring you joy? Yeah. Oh, it does. It brings you joy?
If I get it cleaned up.
Oh, yeah, okay, all right, very good. Yeah, if I get it all cleaned up, then I'm pretty joyful about the way things work. But is that what you would consider activity?
The only way I really enjoy it is if I turn on music and I turn on music and I have something that I like to listen to in the background.
Okay, yeah, helps you move a little bit, absolutely. Now, is it Mary behind you? I think Mary has a thought. Go ahead, share it with us.
Well, I gotta say, with cleaning out and still moving out of my house, and it's taking forever because, of course, I had raised, 4 kids, had multiple animals, had, all kinds of. We live on a farm, so I'm moving out of a farmhouse, which, of course, also has tools and everything else, into it. And so I get 10,000 steps a day just going in and out of the house and making decisions.
Okay, so she's getting her activity in. Mary's got the steps if she's in charge of her steps. She's got the steps down, but I don't know if it's giving her joy. Maybe. But for people who just aren't getting out there and aren't having fun with just those those tasks, those things that need to be done, I say, let's be moving that body. So you got to focus and refocus on your moves. If dancing or walking or jogging or whatever it is, or I love you turn the music on while you're cleaning, it makes it more of a fun activity rather than a chore. So focus and refocus. Refocus on your plan, make your decisions, and then just move in a different direction, right? And then you'll be more active that way. I mean, she's having a great time over there. And look at all the dusting she's doing. No. So anyway, things that qualify for activity. What do you guys think? Walk, jog, swim? Anything else to add?
Stretching.
Stretching? You got to stretch. Love that. Love that. Don't want to hurt yourself. Got to stretch every day, if nothing else, right? What else?
Sports.
Sports? Mm-hmm. Gardening? Good one. As long as it's intentional movement, it's activity, right? But if you're just sat down on your stool and you're just kind of doing that, not a lot of activity in that. So, we got to keep that was not me milking cows either. That was me pulling weeds, by the way. So resistance training. You know what another benefit of resistance training is? It helps ward off depression. Who's going to start strength training now? That's exactly right. Get you some of those bands, or maybe your kids, throw them. No. But anyway, do a little strength training, and it just helps ward off depression. And I don't know if it's because it just helps you with, your center, or it just makes you feel better about yourself. Obviously, you get toner. I worked with a woman once, and she was worried. She's an older gal, and she was worried. She was having trouble getting the push doors open. They were just getting too heavy for her. So again, with help from her doctor, because your doctor overrides anything you've heard from me here today. You should just know that. But just doing some push-aways from the wall just to help her get a little more upper body strength so she felt a little more confident going out the doors. So change happens and it can be fun. So if this is an activity that you're doing or that you don't like to do, how are you going to refocus that activity into something that sounds like fun for you? Incentives. Does that work? Yeah. Anybody else use incentives? Yeah, what do you use?
If I run on the treadmill, I can watch Netflix.
Very good.
It works really well.
Right.
I love Netflix, so.
Oh, I love that. You're earning some time to do something else. And so you feel that you've earned it and it's okay, right? Perfect. Is there anything wrong with that? My neighbor does that to her small children. If they go outside and shoot hoops and stuff, they're earning time to play games and things. So, if that's what works, if that's what gets you to that next level, perfect, right? Sometimes, or when we talk about maybe you're lifting weights and you get it up to that next weight, or you told yourself you're going to walk 10 minutes or 10 minutes 5 days a week, and you do that. So maybe after 4 weeks of doing that, you give yourself some sort of a gift for doing that. It might be,
New pair of jeans because you're going to be a size smaller.
darn straight. That's exactly right. So, whatever that helps work you out. But we have to treat ourselves, right? We would treat our kids. We would treat our friends. Treat ourselves. Okay, so what kind of activity are you going to add to your routine? Somebody was talking to me downstairs about I can't help it. I'm worrying all the time. I'm worrying about my kids. I'm worried about what's going on with them. I'm worried about their livelihood. I'm worried about this. Did it help? Now I want to know which one of those kids called her up and said, would you please start worrying about me today? Anybody get one of those calls ever? No. So step aside. We can't help ourselves, but if you give yourself permission not to worry, then you're better, right? But sometimes we have to give ourselves permission. And when you get yourself caught up in that, and it is a cycle, I worry, I worry, whatever, my best friend is going to California this weekend. I hope she gets there safe. I hope she makes her flight. I hope, my dog isn't eating like he should. Oh my goodness, I hope. Oh, my son should go to the dentist. Hasn't been to the dentist. Oh, he better go to the dentist. Nobody ever called you up and said worry on that, did they?
I had a friend that says worry is like a rocking chair. You don't go anywhere.
You don't go anywhere. That's exactly right. So sometimes we just have to tell ourselves, you know what, I'm worrying. Wait, what's that going to get me? What's it going to pay off? Is it going to make a difference? Is my friend still going to get to California and still going to catch her ride and still, is my dog going to start eating today or tomorrow? Or is my, is my son going to go to the dentist whether or not I worry about him? So, you just got to give yourself permission to not worry about some of the things you worry about. And I know some of the concerns are bigger and deeper, especially in this industry that we're talking about. So, you think about if the animals are going to make it safe, and if you're going to, what's the price of grain, and, all these kind of things. So I know our worries are bigger, so I don't mean to make light. It's just if you can see, worrying about it isn't going to change it. It isn't going to stop the rain from falling. So sometimes we just have to embrace what's happening and continue to move forward. Does that make sense to anyone? Are you going to try to give yourself a little permission to stop the worry? I sure wish you would. Yeah, it makes a difference. So here we go. So when we're sitting around doing all that worrying, we just need to have a little quiet time, do a little stretching, a little Pilates. But here's for my big worrying friends. Meditation, one of my favorites. Can you guys see that? You should sit in meditation for 20 minutes a day. Unless you're too busy, then you should sit for an hour. Yeah, right? True story, right? Yeah, because then everything clears up after a while. Once you realize that you aren't too busy, you aren't too important, just relax. It's going to be okay. And then you'll find that you have plenty of time and it will go on. So backup plan for stress. So that's what we're talking about here, was all that stress. So when you're feeling all tight and all tense and all full of stress, what are you going to do? Eat? Somebody said eat? Wait a minute. We need to go back a few. But you know what? If you're feeling all stressed out, if you're overwhelmed with stress, well, the best thing to do is what?
Divert yourself.
Divert yourself. Right. Refocus. Focus and refocus. Find something else to spend all that emotional time that you have there. Call a friend and just chit-chat. If you've got a favorite family album, get that out and start looking through it. Go back on some of those fabulous memories. If you don't, go get some of those pictures and start putting them together. There's your jigsaw. Absolutely. So it's a common theme. But just take some time to yourself, right? So when we're all stressed out, that's a good time to be kind to us. Create a plan so that you stress less. And as you can see, if you're in good health, You have less stress, gives you more coping powers, provides good health, which provides less stress, which enables you to cope better. And do you see how it just kind of keeps going around and around? And once you get off of one of those points, that's when the hiccup happens. So you've got to be staying in motion and keeping yourself in alignment with whatever works for you to make that happen. And if all fails, a good laugh. Who's got a good favorite TV show or comedian or some grandchild? Anybody have any of those little people around? Yeah, right. They're the best sorts of entertainment, aren't they? Or, you know, just watching a show of kids, or somebody said, you know, there's a comedian was saying that watch baby hippopotamuses or something, you know, find something, but laugh, and that takes that stress away, and sometimes that's just the break you need so that you can keep moving on. So the next time, I challenge you to write this down. Next time I start to worry, I will what instead? Fill in the blank. What are you going to do instead of worrying? Anybody want to share?
Be thankful and count blessings, because then you realize the positive in your life.
That
Right.
gratitude journal that Doris was talking about.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one.
Right, right. Be grateful. I always kind of think of wellness like an unwrapped present. You never know what you're going to get. It's so exciting to see how you can be better every day. It's just something new and fresh. So, you know, think about what you're going to do to make things so much better.
I think talking about it helps. I think sometimes when people worry, they bottle it up and they're inside their head. So I think talking about it and just getting somebody else's perspective, or just having a sounding board.
So talking about it, to Jamie's point as well, I guess. So if we're going to talk about why we're stressed out, how much time do you think we should give that?
Anywhere between 5 to 15 minutes.
I like the 5 to 15 minutes, because you know what happens when you start talking about problems?
It dwells on it.
Everybody keeps going.
It keeps going. And then pretty soon you're, you know, if you, somebody said earlier today, I think, you know, ladies, we talk too much. And sometimes we get to talking and we get to talking, and now we're looking for other things to talk about. And if you're hashing over stress and issues, sometimes we just keep going on. So to Caitlin's point, and I love it, if you want to have somebody to share that with, maybe you better set a timer. That's it, we're done, we're moving on. Because otherwise, yeah, go ahead.
Or if it's that big of a thing, go to a professional, because typically they have a timer.
Yeah, they do, yeah. And it's a ticket away, right? Yeah.
You know, sometimes you just, because I don't, from small experience, they don't let you sort of wallow, right?
Right.
So, you know, sometimes if it's a bigger thing and you need to talk to somebody, sometimes it's.
And again, that is a topic for another time, another issue, but is there any shame in needing someone to talk to when we need someone to talk to? No, absolutely not. The last thing you do is sit around here and wait to become a volcano and blow up. So if you're at a wall and your last friend has said, I've heard enough of that, they don't have the tools to help you get over the hump. And that's the time that you need to just share this news with somebody else who does have the tools. No shame, no judgment. Who in this room wouldn't love to have somebody just sit there and let them lay on the couch and chatter away to them? Right? Oh, yeah, right, really? If it were for free, every day I'd be sitting there going. So anyway, but meanwhile, think about whether this stress is, oh, go ahead.
Just a funny on that. So my husband is an introvert, so for him to re-energize, he goes into our hot bathtub or the jets and gets those going and lays there. I'm an extrovert, so for me to re-energize, I need to blah, 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 let you know about my day. We've been married 23 years. I walk in the bathroom. I rattle off in the bathtub reading the newspaper, and I know he's sick of me when he folds the corner down and I walk out.
Oh.
I know he has not heard a word I've said, and we've been doing it for 23 years.
But look, they have a cue. He folds the paper down. Yeah. So, you know, I love that. That's great. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, going into his space in the tub with your chitter chat until he lets you know that's enough. But you're both fulfilled then.
Yep, we're both good.
The buckets have been filled up, and that's what's important. So wellness, your personal wellness. Are you guys feeling like you have a few tools now? You feel like we've talked some things through? You got some plans?
Yes.
That's what we're heading for. Okay. So maybe wellness in your world is going to a gym, maybe it's weight loss, maybe it's changing up what you eat, maybe it's Pilates, maybe it's adventures. It's different to all of us, right? Our wellness is different to eat. We all walk our own walk. So whatever works for you is what I think you should keep on keeping on. So it works. Hang out, do it. Boundaries, activity, stress less, laugh a lot. We did the 1, 2, 3. We even had 4. You guys should have your filled out. Otherwise, take it with you. Fill it out at home. Here's some things that I offer outside of when I'm here talking, but this is a great time to do a drawing. Did everybody get there? And this is the planner, Become the Change. Embrace small changes for maximum results.
I got a question for you.
Yes?
What do you do when you have someone that all they do is look at the negatives and you try to tell them it's enough and they don't stop?
Good.
I mean, do they need to be part of your tribe?
They are, unfortunately.
So Pam, for those of you who might not have heard, Pam says, what do you do with a contact who spends a lot of time emptying out their cup on you, right? Negative, not happy, kind of a grind. Every time you talk to them, you kind of want to, you see them coming, you want to go the other way. Yes. What do you do with that person? She said, let them out of your tribe. Pam says not possible in this situation. Anybody else have something like that going on? Yep. Anybody else have a solution that has worked?
After that, go find someone that can fill your cup back up. Go get re-energized by someone else, because then as they re-energize you, the rest will kind of float away. Because face it, we all are, whether it's family, coworkers, we all get dipped out of.
Right.
And we have to fill it back up. So find a way to fill yourself back up.
So Joy says, find somebody who fills your cup back up after you've been around the negative energy. Go somewhere that it's positive. Make a call. Go across the room and talk to somebody else who fills you back up. Anybody else have an idea? A thought that might work?
I would just say, like, try to do the positive side of it. Like, if you know that every time they come to you it's negative, try to, like you want to change that culture so that you aren't the one who they're always complaining to.
Okay. Somebody else had a thought?
I was gonna say something similar to that, as well as just like limit contact if you need to. You know, like you don't have to answer every phone call. You don't have to respond to every text. You can say, "Hey, I'm really busy right now, so I really can't talk." But just like you at the beginning, you said, like draw that boundary.
Boundaries. Yeah.
Having an open, honest conversation of, I want to talk about how I feel, and I'm just curious on if when you're telling me these things, are you looking for me to fix them, or are you looking just to talk about them? Because that solicits a different response from me, and therefore then I know how to handle the situation. Because right now I feel like it's just always a Debbie Downer conversation, which isn't a pleasant relationship to have.
So is that helpful? Would that be an answer? You know, the other thing too is ask them a question and change it around. Something to the effect of, what I hear you saying is you're very unhappy about the bicycle that's been left in your front yard for the past 7 years. Is that what's bothering you? And then it makes them stop and think about what they're saying, because sometimes we are just who we are and we carry on because we get by with it. So to your point of the boundaries, if you're letting this person get by with it, it's time to redirect and refocus the conversation. You can't always say, well, I've never had a bike in my yard and I think you shouldn't think about that anymore. But somehow you need to refocus what it is they're telling you about so that they understand this. What I hear you saying is that what's bothering you? And try to get them to move in a little bit different direction. Is that helpful? Since none of us actually know what.
Yeah. Might sound sad, but Dr. Phil pops in my head with, don't be an enabler. You know, what can you do to disable this type of conversation?
And it can be difficult if it's especially somebody who means a lot to you, and you might feel like you're the only person that they can talk to. And now if you shut them down, you don't know what direction it's gonna go in. So they might just need for you to help them redirect where they need to go, how they can get there. Oh, so you don't like that bike in your yard? Is that what you mean? Yes, I've hated that bike ever since I saw it. What do you think we can do about the bike? How can I help you get the bike out of your yard? Because just listening to you tell me about the bike is not really, I don't feel helpful. How can I help you? What would you like me to help you with? And see if you can get them to share a little bit more than just, because this isn't working, right? And just to finish up on that note, because we don't know who she's talking to, and we don't know how close that relationship is. But if you can't get, it's kind of like Alcoholics Anonymous. They have Al-Anon. If you can't get that message through, maybe you need to go visit with somebody and let them know, and then somebody who is smarter, wiser, and has a better pedigree can give you the tools to help you walk away, or teach you how to calm down during that, and where you, sometimes we just need to go someplace in our own little head. I always call it taking a little vacation while I'm standing here. You know, and just figure out what else to do. But, you know, I mean, sometimes we don't have to be drowning that things are so horrible for us, so much as how can I help this? This is going wrong, and I don't like this anymore, and how can I change that? Because you know what? Maybe we just need to be heard and be given some tools, and there's no shame in that either. All right, that's how we get better. Okay, so because I am just going to let Jamie draw. No pressure here for a planner. Pam. So Pam is the winner of the free planner. That's you? Woohoo! Good. Oh, all right. That's perfect. But you can all be winners. There's many of them here for you. If you want to purchase one, they're $10. I'm happy to sign them if you would like me to sign them. That's awesome, amazing. If you want a gift pack, I have some here for $15, and it's got a dry towel. So if you want to have something it's got the planner in it, and then it's got a towel, so after your workout, you can freshen up. And some water to make sure you stay hydrated. And oh, one thing before we go, and then we shall take off. A little breathing technique that you can take this with you, and no matter where you are, and I say even if you're at a stoplight, however, you probably don't want to close your eyes if you're in your car driving. But you can do this a couple times a day. I think it's perfect. So sit with your back flat against the seat of your chair, feet on the floor. Close your eyes if you're comfortable, unless of course you're driving. And we're going to do this 4 times. I'm going to do it with you. I'm going to count it through, and then we'll take it off. So we're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and breathe out for 8. So ready? In. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In. 2. Hold. Out. Last time. In. Hold. Out. Now slowly open your eyes. Thank you all so much for coming. It's been a great day. Drive safe.